I feel my muscle bouncing. As mentioned just now, this is the GR Vios.
The GR Sport.
GR Sport Vios, yeah.
So
okay.
I don't know if we should mention the body kit because it is part of the spec, and I don't think a lot of people will buy the spec.
Yeah, it's like a bolt-on.
It's bolt-on, glued on.
Yeah.
You can see there's like a line here where they seal up.
There's a bumper as well, right? Yeah, there's a bumper seal.
Overall, I really like the look of this facelift of the Vios.
Right.
But I don't like it with this body kit.
Right.
And I think we had the
And most people won't buy this with this spec anyway.
If you get this car, I think don't get the GR S spec. Just get the G spec. Yeah. Especially now you got LED projectors. Right. I really like the layout of this projector. Okay. It's like a little bit more upmarket. Right. And it's finally got like a daytime running light inside the headlamp.
Last time it was like down there or something, right?
So last time it was
separated. But it tells you the age of the car because it was from 2015-16 period where when daytime running lights was beginning to get common.
But it wasn't standard.
Yes, it was slapped on. And I like how this light is incorporated with the grille in terms of its design language. Very, this started to get in trend around 2 to 3 years ago. So I think to see it on a car this old, it's actually quite interesting.
And it works well.
Yeah, it works well. The City looks like its brother, which is the Civic. It has that look to it, but it seems a little bit simplistic. This thing is huge. Too huge on a small car, to be honest. And there's very little design language going on, other than the fact that the lights, there is a very 3D feel to the light, because there is a lot of curve and whatnot here. But other than that, if you look at here, there's a lot more design language. So for example, you see this V, it's very Supra that you get in that Supra family that you see. And also, there's a lot of layering here, even though the lights is actually simple. But I think overall, the front end looks more modern than that.
Yeah. The best aspect of the Vios is the proportionality. Right. Because in the Honda City, like you said, the grille is a little bit too big. Like you can see there just being...
For the side.
Yeah. So from some angles it looks really good, but then at other angles you're like, hey, this is a Civic pretending to be smaller. It just looks a bit off.
There is a little bit of a wannabe to its look, which is very unfortunate because the City is a very successful product. You can make it look like a Civic without having to resort to this. It looks a little bit disproportionate, especially the nose part. I feel
they're jutting out.
And if you look at the rest of the vehicle, for example, the entire bumper itself, it's actually very 2015 in terms of its layout. You know, it's very simplistic, very simple lines. Of course, it's subjective, but you see a lot more effort going on here. Breaking of the mold and making it 2020 relevant.
Yeah, keeping up with the trends.
Correct.
The hexagon pattern on the wheel.
Correct. As opposed to a newer car, by right, a newer model, yet keeping it so conservative. It's not wrong. Conservative is okay. It's just that it feels like a missed opportunity. Continuing from the front, you see the simplicity at the side of the City. Yeah. The line is very simplistic. It's just one shoulder line cutting across to the entire side, as you can see here. Whereas in the Vios, you see that curve that eats into the body, and then it moves upwards. Mind you, this is an older model.
You can see two distinct lines.
Correct. So there are a lot more design language going on in the Vios, whereas the City is again conservative. Very, very conservative. That's why when you tell me it's a new model,
it doesn't hit.
It doesn't hit me because it looks physically, it has the proportion of the previous model.
Yeah. It looks like it might be just a facelift.
Correct.
But it's actually a completely new model. I tell you, for me, the problem with this car is two things. Not with the City. Right. Because overall, I think they got the look right. They're comfortable with the look already. Right. Fine. But I don't really like the fact that they chrome the door handles. I'm sure that's on the lower spec Vios.
It's the same.
Same thing.
It's the same.
I don't like chrome door handles. It just looks weird.
Especially for a car of this class.
Yeah.
I mean, just paint it. If you're not going to give me black, I think black is really nice.
Like, I prefer that.
Yeah, but that is because it's a GRS spec. Yeah, but what this experiment tells us is that, even if it's not GRS spec, just give it black. It actually looks
so much better.
So much better. Now, worst case scenario, just give it a body color. Right? Yeah. Just give it a body color.
That's fine. I think body color is
Don't do that. That is 1998.
The trend is kind of moved on. I don't know why Honda.
Yeah. Which is really odd, right? Even like really premium cars who has only a strip of chrome.
Yeah.
But the Japanese do have a fetish for chrome in their design, you realize. Look at the Alphas and the Velfires.
Another detail problem, I think, like the wheels.
Right.
They just look a bit off to me, especially in the single tone color.
This problem is because you are looking at comparing with the Vios,
No.
GRS Vios.
It's because I'm comparing to the last generation 1.5P, which was dual tone already. Because now the flagship is the hybrid model.
Right.
So the hybrid gets the dual tone, but this one very obviously got downgraded.
Maybe in a way it's a downgrade because they're telling you this is not the flagship.
Yeah. I think that's why the signal is that.
Which is really sad. But that being said, you know, that looks okay. Isn't it?
Honestly, I've never seen a B segment sedan with wheels that look that interesting.
And you know, we make fun of people with black wheels because
You're trying to be sporty.
yeah, but hey, not bad. But the problem with the black wheel is that it may not fit other colors. If you go like blue or whatever, it may not fit the black color with. But yes, that is definitely a downgrade. It looks a lot cheaper.
You want to talk about your favorite issue with the city, the proportion issue?
Yeah, the pregnant whale issue. It's the same problem that I see with the Corolla, the current Corolla. Is it the Altis? Ours is the Altis, right? With the current Corolla Altis and also with this design, they are designed from inside out. That means you have the internal dimension designed out, then you wrap it up on the outside. And what happens is that you end up with a car that has a very short front end, very short back end, and a bulging passenger compartment.
And a very odd slope to the roof line.
Correct. I mean, that's why we are moving into the crossover SUV because there's no reason to keep this shape anymore. And that's why you end up with this very uncomfortable sedan look. Whereas that, on the other hand, is a lot more proportionate. It is a traditional three-box design, but done with finesse, I would say. Done with finesse.
If you're going to make a small sedan,
right,
that's the proportion to follow.
But again, therein lies the problem. The sedan body is a little bit 20th century. It is a little bit, I mean, if you think about it, it is not the best body design ever. Right? And it kind of loses its purpose now that crossover is the primary choice. But I'm not saying it's ugly. I'm saying that it's disproportionate. Yeah.
Another thing I just realized is the wing mirrors are mounted on the pillar there, whereas here it's mounted on the door itself.
Jazz, like a couple of generations ago, started this mounting on the door thing. I think it has something to do with NVH. Whereas that, why do you mount it on the door but not make it look like it's mounted on the door?
I don't know. Throughout like my time in the industry, there's always this big debate of which one looks better, door mounted or pillar mounted. Right. And a lot of traditionalists prefer pillar mounted.
Okay.
Whereas a lot of modern people with modern tastes, they say they prefer door mounted.
Right. You're right. Actually, if you mount it like that, it looks off. It's like, hey, why my door got something sticking out of it? Something is sticking out of the door. But door-mounted side mirror has an NVH quality to it. It actually improves your NVH so that it's not because cuts through the wind better.
The wind is not directly hitting something that is right next to the window
where the sound
noise can
come in.
You can see there. The wind probably has to back. But they put a little what they call vortex generator on the side.
Yeah, the Toyota all has that vortex generator.
I wonder if it works.
Yeah. Apparently it works. We were told that it's supposed to work.
Yeah. We have the
back end. Yeah. So disclaimer again, GRS Vios. You have the ducktail and you have the GR badge. You have the entire slab of extra skirt at the bottom. So without those things, then you're getting a standard Vios.
It lacks those things. But overall the look is about the same.
Right.
Let's talk about the good things first now.
Okay.
I like the fact that both car companies are not faking exhaust tips. You can see the tip there, but it's not a fake tip. Okay, that's what I like.
Over here it's a bit hidden behind the skirt.
Yeah.
You can't really see it anymore. I'm pretty sure it points downwards.
The Vios and the City, they go for very different looks.
Right.
I think overall, just looking at the back, it gives you a summary of what the Vios is. It's trying to look aggressive and dynamic.
Right.
It's trying to look sporty.
Right.
Even without the VR kit. Right. It looks a little bit more,
sharper. Yeah, more dynamic. Yeah.
Whereas the City is going for like a sophisticated, cleaner look.
Yeah, it tries to look like a 3 Series.
It tries to look like a 3 Series. It's basically a 3 Series.
Yeah.
T20.
Personally, I still prefer this. Not only because it's more traditional, but it's also more characteristic of Vios. We've seen this before. We've seen the Yaris as well. It's very similar to this. So it's a look that it has. It's a look that Toyota Yaris and Vios has.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of brings out its personality. Well, that is very obviously trying to be something it's not. Unfortunately, now of course you can say that it's coincidence. But you're wrong. I don't think it is. I think they're really gunning for that look. Yeah. The previous City tries to look a little bit like a 3 Series as well, right?
Yeah.
But not as much.
Yeah.
And that look actually is more characteristic, I feel. When the G20 comes out, we were making fun of it, isn't it? Remember? Because it looks like a Lexus. Basically, you're copying something that looks like it's already copying something else. And to be honest, in terms of shape, it's
a little bit lacking in character.
It is.
I mean, I don't think it's an ugly car. Honestly, if you were asking me to spend money on one car just based on the looks, I would still go for that. It feels like this one had a little bit of influence from the Thai market itself. Their taste and all.
Right. So, a bit more bling.
A bit more bling. And then because of that, you have the vortex generators everywhere, the humps on the roof.
You sure it's not on other Toyotas?
It is on some of the Toyotas, yeah. Like on the Corolla Cross. Yeah. I saw 1 or 2.
But that is a Thailand thing as well.
It's a Thailand thing. So I think that influence of like, hey, we are a real car, look at us, we're a real brand, we take us seriously kind of thing, is a bit too much of the Vios. Right. Whereas the City is like, listen, we understand you all want a 3 Series, but you can't afford one. So here's what we can give you.
I don't know how that is not insulting. I personally still prefer that because it doesn't look like a pregnant whale. No, it doesn't look like a pregnant dwarf whale. That's the problem. The Corolla looks like a pregnant whale. Yeah. This one looks like a dwarf whale. A pregnant dolphin. I can't complain. I understand why they do this. The car is designed inside out with utilitarian consideration as primary consideration. So,
how big is your boot? How big is your interior space? That's the main thing.
Correct.
This is people's only car.
Yeah. This is like, for Malaysia, at least 20 to 30% of people treat this class of vehicle as their primary mode of transport. Yeah. And you need to fulfill a lot of requirements. Looks, I think, is a little bit lower on your consideration. Price, reliability, space, ergonomics, these are more important. And fuel consumption, these are more important considerations. So, looks-wise, of course, you want to give a score.
I do.
Without GR, of course, we're not going to do the GR thing, alright? Without GR, what would you score that? 4.
3.8.
Today you're more generous than me. I would give it a 3.5 because it's a bit aging. Maybe I would have given it a 4 like 4 years ago. But today, I mean, it's aging a bit long in the tooth. Even though it still looks good, it's really a bit long in the tooth.
The reason why I give it a slightly higher score is because even though it is aging, I see the improvement generation. I know this looks more appealing to me than the previous one. Right. Just based on the front, the new lights and all that.
Definitely.
Immediately it looks like
there's a lot of work done
Yeah.
Basically, I see a lot of effort. What about the City?
I'm a Honda fan.
Yeah, I know, you're going to add 1 mark. So it's going to be a 6 out of 5.
It's going to be 6 out of 5.
What the hell?
For me, it's a 4. Because I think in this market, given the market reality of you cannot own a 3 Series, here's the closest thing you can get. I think, I can't fault it.
That kind of mentality insults me a little bit. No, I don't like things that tries very hard to look like others. You can be inspired, but I do see some inspiration, like the really jutting out of the lights at the side. I am gonna give it a 3 point. I'm gonna give it a 3.2. I think a bit more work to make it 2021 would have been better. Not necessarily making it more complicated, but giving it a little bit more current design trend, because after all, it's a 2020 car. I mean, why does it look like it comes out in 2016?
Yeah, the rims especially.
Yeah, the car is so new, almost an entire generation newer than this Vios we have, but it looks like it came from the same period of time. And that's my only concern or complaint with the City. I think in the facelift, what they can do, of course, is to complicate it, which is, in this class, that may work, actually. Give it a little bit more design language,
the
GR-like thing, then maybe I will consider giving it a bit higher. At the moment, it is simple, but at an 80,000 ringgit simple may not be that good a thing. Because, you see, when you're talking about 250, 300,000 ringgit car, it started out as a sculpture, right? It's sculpted to look like that, and then they keep it simple and clean. Whereas we are talking, this is not a sculpture, man. This is an architect's homework, starting from inside out. So it's never going to look good to start with. So I feel that in this class of car, you have to do a little bit more on the design side to make it pop. Because we're not talking, it is not something that will ever be treated as an art piece. So you just got to show the effort. Where else, you know, if you're talking about coupe, e-coupe or whatever, that thing is an art piece, man. Don't mess it up. So that's my point of view, because it's not a good looking car. I mean, your genes are already telling you you're not gonna be good looking. Because you have to look so fat and fit in such a short wheelbase, in such a small and narrow wheelbase. You know, it's never gonna look good, no matter what you do. Like the first Porsche Panamera. No matter what you do, that thing's gonna be ugly. So why don't you just go all out and
embrace that?
Yes, embrace the ugliness and give it a personality.
Okay,
all right.
So let's check out the interior design, but let's finish up with the boot of both cars.
Right.
Just to see
Yeah.
what it looks like.
Okay.